Good morning. This is our weekly E3 market report. It is the 22nd of December. Exports have just come out. Let's go straight to those. Cotton has good sales of 276,700 running bales. That's down 11% from the previous week and down 6% from the 4-week average. China took 86,000 running bales. Vietnam took 50,100 running bales. Indonesia took 48,300. We also see Turkey, Pakistan as good takers. Let's see the reaction of the market. Cotton was up 26 just before this report came out. It's up 22 right now. I think we've probably gotten used to these very big sales and take them for granted. Let's take a look now at soybeans. Good number, 1,812,700 metric tons. That is down from the previous week 10%, but up 9% over the 4-week average. China took 1,249,500 metric tons. Thailand took 85,300. Japan took 66,600. And, of course, others for that big a number. Soybeans were down 8.5 just before the report. Right now it's down 8. We'll give it a little bit longer to see how these markets might react with a little bit of time. After the report comes out, we'll check those again. Let's look at corn, 1,251,000 metric tons. That's down 18% from the previous week and down 8% from the 4-week average. Japan took 535,800 metric tons. Mexico took 372,200 metric tons. South Korea took 125,000 metric tons. Now, corn was down a penny before the report. Now it's down 0.75 cents. Let's look at wheat. 297,800 metric tons. That's down 44% from the previous week and down 47% from the 4-week average. Nigeria took 101,700. Mozambique took 42,000. Indonesia took 42,000. And Japan took 41,700. Wheat was unchanged. Now wheat's unchanged. So no real change yet there. Let's look at what's happened over the last couple of weeks in terms of price for these markets. The cotton market saw a high of 72.43. It's seen a low during this period of 69.32. That was yesterday. As we look at positives and negatives, mostly positives, the specs are long the market. That can be considered a positive and a negative if they're too long the market. Mills must buy cotton, must fix cotton. They've got a lot of cotton that's been bought but unfixed. The analysts say 10 million bales of cotton, which is a very large number. We've been looking at very good demand, and the seasonals point up for this time of the year. The negatives would be technicals have rolled over some, and the speculators have gotten extremely long the market. If you look at open interest in recent days, we've seen the open interest dropping some, and that could be a sign. We've seen, as we've sold off here recently, some liquidation. We'll see if it's enough to allow this market to move back up, which it did yesterday. Soybeans, over the last 2 weeks, the range is a high of 10.71 1/4, a low of 10.08 3/4. Our last trade is 10.08 3/4. So we've actually made a new low here. I see we've been as low as 10.07 3/4. So that is the low of the last 2 weeks. Looking at that market, we've seen very, very good demand. Also, the seasonals point up. The negatives are some technical considerations there. Also, we think we're about to start seeing a shift in demand to South America. This is about the time of the year you might start seeing that. Looking for a forecast there of as we look forward, maybe we can get as low as $9.90 to $10. The high, if we recover, could be $11.60 to $11.80. Looking at corn, 2-week range there, a high of 364 3/4, a low of 346. That was made overnight. A last trade of 346 3/4. Positives, good demand for corn, also moving somewhat along with soybeans. The negatives, we've seen a big crop, and we also are going to be seeing a shift to South America. And the back to positives, we would be looking at seasonals pointing up. Forecast there is from a low maybe of 340 to a high of 370. Wheat over the last 2 weeks has seen a high of 420 and 3/4 and a low of 397 and a half that was made overnight. The last trade in March wheat is 399 and 3/4. Looking at a big crop there. We've seen negative technicals. We're not far from longer-term lows. The forecast is for a low of 380 and maybe a high as 440. We did not give a forecast for cotton. Let's look back at that. Looking for a forecast possibly to the downside. In 68 to 69, we think would be the most we could see. And this recent sell-off to 69.32, that we might see good support even at that level. To the upside, maybe seeing 74 to 75, and even later on toward the spring, possibly up toward the highs that were made months ago at 77 to 78. So we'll see. We've been trapped sideways. The trend has been sideways. So we'll see if we can continue within that trend or if we will eventually see a breakout. So that's it. One last look at the markets. Cotton is up 21 to 22, wheat, which is 4 points lower than before the exports. Cotton is down 8.5. That's exactly where it was before the exports. Corn is down 3/4. It was down 1 before the exports. Wheat's up 1/4, so it's very close to where it was before the exports. That's it. Have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.